Well, I am going to be fletching up some arrows for a buddy. He has a dozen gold tip traditionals, and I'm going to show you how I fletch them. I just got done doing my buddy Weston. He's been on the channel quite a few times. Fletch up some arrows for his compound, and now I'm going to do these and show you the whole process. So this is how I start. Got some wraps here. So I take this wrapping, I lay it down on a notepad. I'm using an anatomy and physiology book right here, but what you do is you line it up nice and even, get it right where you want it, and then you just roll it across. And you just roll it back and forth a few times. And that notepad has a little give to it, so that way it goes on nice and even. And now I'm not perfect here. And then what I do is, you can see that, I don't know if you guys are able to see it, there's a seam right where the two ends connect. They overlap just a touch. Take my shirt and run my finger over it, go back and forth real fast and heat it up, and then it kind of cements together and keeps it from unwrapping and all that whenever you start shooting it. So you do that a few times, get it nice and hot, and it just cements itself. And boom. And then I'll do all of these. Here are your wraps on the arrows. Look pretty smooth, pretty clean, and now it's time to get them set up on the jig. So this is a BPE jig, and just does 3 at a time. Get it all lined up. 3 feathers at a time. What you want to do here, throw in the clamp. I actually got one of his old arrows here. Try to line it up best I can. Yep, about the exact same. Whoa. So I will line this up here on the number 2. I just did a plastic veins, and my god, they were so much easier to control and everything. Right there. Put that in there like that, and there's numbers here. I line it up in the same line every time to make sure they're nice and consistent, and then this jig, it's pretty old as you can see, but you can adjust the helical, and I try to get as much helical as I can while still having the feather get on there nice and even. Like that's coming off right there. Lay it down. I need to bring it forward a touch. And that should be good there, and have some decent helical. More helical the better. Right there is looking pretty mint for me. Make sure that's right on the 2, which it is. I am using Fletch tight. Stuff is amazing. Takes about 24 hours for it to completely set in. You can tell I'm a little shaky. I just drank a big cup of coffee and it's starting to get all jittery now. Throw it on there, squeeze it down nice and tight. Make sure it's nice and flat. Take a Q-tip. Get any excess glue you can. I'm going to use a Q-tip. Wipe up as much excess front and back. And then I squeeze it down a few times to make sure it's nice and flush. You let it sit for about, I let it sit for about 3-4 minutes. Well, feathers, they tend to come off of these are probably like 5 minutes. Take it up, turn it, and put the next one on. It's got this cock feather on there. Just turn it down until it locks in place. Leave that one of the colorful ones. Throw her in the jig. Make sure she lines up real nice. These are some long feathers here. These might be 5.5 inches. Shoot. Yeah, the plastic ones are so much easier to work with. Get her lined up pretty good. Start from the bottom. Run her right to the top. Yeah, the old 19 whatever BP jig works pretty good. Been fletching my arrows now for about 3 years, and now I'm starting to do some buddies, and hopefully I don't screw up too bad and they can at least get to fly enough to kill a buck. We got one more to go and then this arrow will be done. Well, take it off nice and slow. See? That glue gets stuck on the arrow shaft once in a while, like right there. That's why you gotta let it sit for a few extra minutes, because if it wasn't completely dry, that vein would have ripped off. I've done that plenty of times, don't worry. Lock it in. Pick some of this glue off. I heard a tech tip to put like Vaseline on this, that way the glue doesn't dry down like it just did, but line it up. Get it perfect. Lock her in, push down, squeeze some of that glue out, wipe away the excess, both sides. One more pinch to make sure she's flat, and let it sit for 5 minutes, and that arrow will be ready to shoot. And well, you can shoot it now; it'd probably be fine. But it says let it sit for 24 hours, which I always do because refletching sucks. So 5 minutes, and it'll be done. perfect. And then once I finish this batch, I'll take this glue and I'll dab right on the tip of each feather. That way it really secures it in place and they won't rip off when you're shooting them. And yeah, that's about it. It's pretty simple. As long as you have the jig and the right glue, it doesn't take too much to do it. If someone like me can do it, then you could definitely do it too. But that's a good looking arrow there. The wrap and the feathers come out really good. So 11 more to go. Here's the finished product. Just a little bit of glue hanging off, but it come out really well. It took me like 6 hours to do 17 arrows a day on one jig, and they come out really good. They're really pretty and should look like a luminoc flying through the air.